Ladies and gentlemen, the tellers are passing out the warrant for the special town meeting, which is the first event for the evening. This is the meeting that was not held last fall for lack of a quorum. Okay. The tellers are passing out the warrant for the special town meeting, which is the meeting we did not get a quorum for last fall. And that is being passed out to you now, so make sure that you get a copy of that so you can follow along. The first meeting we will have this evening is the special town meeting from last fall, as we said. The quorum for the special town meeting is 200 registered voters. In my opinion, there are over 200 people in this hall right now. I'm going to declare this a quorum and begin with the meeting unless I hear an objection. Hearing none, it's my pleasure to declare this meeting open. Where he was. Well, I don't want to embarrass him.
No, I don't.
Ladies and gentlemen, as we're waiting for the selectmen to get organized, I just have a few announcements and the like to announce, and then we will get started with Article 1 on the special town meeting. First of all, I'd like to have a moment of silence at this time for Ruth McKillop, who worked for the town clerk's office for many years and passed away recently. We could have a moment of silence for her at this time. Thank you. I'd like at this time to thank Continental Cablevision for showing this meeting live on Channel 30 this evening, specifically Program Director Ellison Simons. Continental Cablevision will also be televising live the Candidates Night tomorrow night at 7 p.m. as well. Their help in community activities is appreciated. Also, I'd like to mention that Elliston is looking for people who would like to be involved in community activities, either working a camera or working on the programs that they have. They're ongoing. You can call him at 365-3086 at Continental Cablevision, and he would be happy to help you and work with something that would be of interest to you. I'd also like at this time to introduce your newest member of the Clinton Finance Committee, Douglas Crossman, who had previously served on the Infrastructure Committee and the Town Hall Renovation Committee before his recent appointment. Congratulations, Doug, on your appointment. Welcome to the Town Finance Committee. Was it? All right, and John's not coming. All right, your stage members for tonight's meeting. On your far right, Selectman Michael Jakonski. Selectman Jerry Buffton just had a surgery on his arm. He will not be able to be with us this evening. Selectman Bates also is having problems with his leg. And as you know, John, is because of that, has decided not to seek re-election, and we wish him well on that venture as well. Select Person Mary Rose Dickow, and Chairman of the Board James Coyne. On your far side is Solicitor Dennis Sargent and Secretary Julie Kilbride. All speakers must be recognized by the moderator before speaking. All questions, comments, or discussion should be directed to the moderator. I will redirect that to the appropriate person for a response. Please state your name and address before speaking. All remarks should be made to the article under discussion. Unless rising to answer a question, a person can only speak twice during any one article. The only hands that will be counted during hand votes are from voters who are seated in the hall. Standees will not be counted, so I encourage all standees to take a seat before the first vote is taken. All proposed amendments should be presented to me in writing. The only people in the hall right now should be registered voters of the town of Clinton or people who have been given prior permission by myself to observe the proceedings. Unless I hear an objection, I will dispense with the reading of the warrant, as you should all have copies of that in front of you now. And with the meeting underway, we can begin with Article 1.
Mr. Moderator, ladies and gentlemen, Article 1, to see if the town will vote to raise, appropriate, or take from available funds the sum of $4,955.58 or any other sum. Said sum to be expanded by the town of Clinton custodian for the purpose of paying the following unpaid bill or acting in any manner relating thereto. Mass Electric, $4,955.58. This article has been approved by the Finance Board.
Second.
Article number 1 have been made and seconded, dealing with $4,955.58 for the unpaid bill for Mass Electric. Approved by your Finance Committee, all unpaid bills, ladies and gentlemen, require a 9/10 vote at special town meeting for passage. Questions, comments, or discussion under the article? There being none, all in favor signify by raising your hand now, please. Thank you, and opposed. Thank you. The article is passed unanimously. Article 2.
Mr. Moderator, Article 2, to see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate or take from available funds the sum of $355.35 or any other sum, said sum to be expended by the police chief for the purpose of paying the following unpaid bills or acting in any manner relating thereto. ITT Hartford Insurance, $250. Clinton Hospital, $105.35. This article has Finance Committee approval.
Second, Mr. Moderator.
Article number 2 have been made and seconded, dealing with the sum of $250 for ITT Hartford Insurance and $105.35 for Clinton Hospital from the Police Department. Questions, comments, or discussion under this unpaid bill? There being none, all in favor signify by raising your hand now, please. Thank you, and opposed. Thank you. The article is passed unanimously. Article 3.
Mr. Moderator, Article 3, to see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate or take from available funds the sum of $2,712.55 or any other sum, said sum to be expended by the town clerk for the purpose of paying the following unpaid bill or acting in any manner relating thereto. LHS Associates Incorporated, $2,712.55. This carries Finance Committee approval.
Second, Mr. Moderator.
Article number 3 have been made and seconded, dealing with the sum of $2,712.55 for LHS Associates, bill submitted by the Town Clerk Department. Questions, comments, or discussion? There being none, all in favor signify by raising your hand now, please. Thank you. And opposed? Thank you. The article is passed unanimously. Article 4.
Mr. Moderator, I move Article 4. I move that the town vote to take from free cash the sum of $3,500, said sum to be expended by the town solicitor for the purpose of paying the following unpaid bill. James A. Gibbon, Esquire, $3,500. This carries the Finance Committee approval.
Second, Mr. Moderator.
Article 4 have been made and seconded, dealing with the sum of $3,500 for the unpaid bill for James A. Gibbons, attorney, $3,500. Finance Committee approved. Questions, comments, or discussion? There being none, all in favor signify by raising your hand now, please. Thank you. And opposed? Thank you. The article is passed unanimously. Article 5.
Mr. Moderator, Article 5. I move that the town vote to take from free cash the sum of $3,620, said sum to be expended by the Fuller Field Restoration Committee for the purpose of paying the following unpaid bill. Bourne Plumbing and Heating Company, $3,620. This carries the Finance Committee approval, this article.
Mr. Moderator, I second the motion.
Article number 5, having been made and seconded, $3,620 for Moore and Plumbing and Heating from the Fuller Field Restoration Committee. Questions, comments, or discussion under the article? There being none, all in favor signify by raising your hand now, please. Thank you. And opposed? Thank you. The article is passed unanimously. Article 6.
Mr. Moderator, Article 6. I move that the town vote to take from free cash the sum of $1,219.20, said sum to be expanded by the school committee for the purpose of paying the following unpaid bills. Janice Sheehan, $236, and Donahue Limousine, $983.20. Mr. Moderator, this article carries the Finance Committee approval.
Second, Mr. Moderator.
Article number 6, having made and seconded, $1,219.20 for Janice Sheehan for $236 and Donahue Limousine for $983.20. Questions, comments, or discussion under the article? There being none, all in favor signify by raising your hand now, please. Thank you. And opposed? Thank you. The article is passed unanimously. Article 7.
Mr. Moderator, Article 7. I move that the town vote to transfer from the stabilization fund the sum of $50,000, said sum to be expanded by the Board of Selectmen for the purchase of a network computer for the town hall and for upgrading technology of other town offices. This carries Finance Committee approval.
Mr. Moderator, I second the motion.
Article number 7, having been made and seconded with a sum of $50,000 to be transferred from the stabilization fund for the purpose of a network computer for town hall for upgrading technology in the town offices. Questions, comments, or discussion under the article? There being none, this vote requires a two-thirds vote for passage as the money is coming from the stabilization fund. There being no discussion, all in favor signify by raising your hand now, please. Thank you. And opposed? Thank you. The article is passed unanimously. Article 8.
Mr. Moderator, I move that the town vote to table the article.
Is it in there, warrant? Yeah. Okay. Article 8, we have a motion to table Article 8. It was,
Second, Mr. Moderator.
and it is now seconded. It was for the school department for a tractor. As I said, this was a meeting scheduled for last fall. The school department has found other funds to purchase such a tractor and no longer need the funds available through this warrant. So the motion has been made to table it. All in favor of tabling Article 8 indicate by raising your hand now, please. Thank you. And opposed? Thank you. The article is tabled unanimously. We move to Article 9.
Mr. Moderator, Article 9. I move that the town vote to take from free cash the sum of $23,580.84, said sum to fund the first year of a three-year negotiated agreement beginning July 1st, 1996, between the town of Clinton to the Board of Selectmen and the American Federation of State, County, and Municipal Employees, Council Number 93, having been negotiated in accordance with Massachusetts General Law, Chapter 150E as amended. This carries Finance Committee approval.
Mr. Moderator, I'll second the motion.
Article number 9 have been made and seconded. What this article is, ladies and gentlemen, is the first year of a three-year contract between your Department of Public Works and the Board of Selectmen that they have negotiated for you. You would vote on it the first year, and then would automatically be in the budget for the years 2 and 3 of the budget that would come up. It is for a 4%, 4%, and 4% raise over 3 years. Questions, comments, or discussion under the article? There being none, all in favor signify by raising your hand now, please. Thank you. And opposed? Thank you. The article is passed unanimously. Article 10.
Mr. Moderator, Article 10. I move that the town vote to take from free cash the sum of $15,390, said sum to fund the provisions of Mass General Law, Chapter 48, Section 57G as amended, providing for compensation of the fire chief and police chief. Finance Committee approved.
Mr. Moderator, I'll second the motion.
Article number 10 have been made and seconded.
Mr. Moderator,
Yes.
I move to amend the figure in Article 10 to read $24,900.
Second, Mr. Moderator.
Okay, there's an amendment to Article 10 to change the figure from what is printed in your warrant to the figure of $24,900. What this is, ladies and gentlemen, at last year at the annual town meeting, you voted at town meeting to give the fire and police chief a contract or a contract stipulation that would give them 1.8 times what their patrolman or firefighter through their contract would get. And this now is the monies that would allow that to happen. Okay? So we have right now a motion to increase, we're on an amendment to Article 10 to increase the figure to $24,900. Questions, comments, or discussion on the amendment? There being none, all in favor signify by raising your hand now, please. Thank you. And opposed? Thank you. The amendment is passed. We now move to Article 10 as amended with the new figure in it. Questions, comments, or discussion? Sir.
Dennis Parker, South Meadow Road. Question is, on the explanation, is this going to be a one-time thing, or is this going to be going on year after year? Obviously, the amendment, we're handing out $12,000 raises. Are they going to do that for every town employee, or is this just going to stop for department heads? And is it just going to be for these two department heads, or is it going to be for every department head? It seems to be an irresponsible expenditure of taxpayers' money.
Okay. Okay, once again, now at the annual town meeting last year, the article was passed at town meeting to give that 1.8% times the patrolman or firefighter level to the two chiefs. And this would fund it and backtrack it to that date, my understanding is. In the future, it would be in the budget and would not be voted on as a separate article. So I hope that answers your question. Is there any other questions, comments, or discussion under Article 10? Sir. Is that a motion? Okay, I have a motion to make Article 10 a ballot vote. You familiar with that, a secret ballot vote? I would need to have a second on that if we're going to. Okay, motion has been made and seconded to make Article 10 a ballot vote. I'll take the point of order.
The fire chief and the police chief this raise. It was a 1.8 over the top man. It's a one-time deal. The money that's added to this, to the 24,000, is you're giving them the back pay plus 4% of their last year's negotiated raise. You've already voted to give them the money. This year's budget, it's included in this year's budget. This is money that we owe them, which you've already voted to give them. So to go to a ballot vote, go ahead, but you've already given them the money last year. Now you're funding it this year. If you voted to give them and you vote against to take it away, what sense does that make?
Okay, right now we have a motion on the floor to have a ballot vote on Article 10. It has been seconded. We will take a vote on that at the time. You are voting now on how to vote. You are voting, if you vote yes, you will be voting for a ballot vote, secret ballot vote. If you vote no, we will do a hand vote. All in favor of the amendment to make a ballot vote on Article 10 indicate by raising your hand now, please. Thank you. All opposed? Thank you. Okay, this will remain a hand vote. We are now still under discussion under Article 10. Is there any further questions, comments, or discussion under the article?
Mr. Moderator, if I may, please.
Sir.
Mr. Moderator, to answer the gentleman's question, under Mass General Law, Chapter 48, Section 57G, the town of Clinton, in the town meeting last year, voted and for the police chief. That statute was specifically passed by the legislature, signed by the governor, and is directed towards those two individual department heads only. That particular statute passed at town meeting, and it set the rate for compensation for the police chief and the fire chief at 1.8% of the highest patrolman or firefighter. Based upon that, it is basically essentially just a formula calculation as to what that pay should be. And that's how those numbers were arrived at. But that number was specifically approved by town meeting vote and is something that, in my legal opinion, should go forward as set.
Could be a long night, folks. I had to put them away. Okay. Any further questions, comments, or discussion under Article 10? There being none, we will take a vote at this time. All in favor of Article 10 indicate by raising your hand now, please. Thank you. And opposed? Thank you. The article is passed. Article 11.
Mr. Moderator, Article 11. I move that the town vote to authorize the filing of a petition for special legislation with the Massachusetts General Laws to refund an overpayment of real estate taxes in the amount of $1,181.29 with interest, if any, to the estate of the late Helen P. Hutchinson. This has Finance Committee approval.
Second, Mr. Moderator.
Article number 11 have been made and seconded, dealing with the sum of $1,181.29 for the estate of Helen Hutchinson for overpayment of taxes paid, real estate taxes paid in the past. Questions, comments, or discussion under Article 11? There being none, all in favor signify by raising your hand now, please. Thank you. And opposed? Thank you. The article is passed unanimously. Article 12.
Mr. Moderator, Article 12. I move that the town vote to take from available wetlands filing funds the sum of $2,754, said sum to be used by the Conservation Commission for administrating Massachusetts General Law, Chapter 131, Section 40 as amended, Wetlands Protection Act, Conservation Commission. This carries Finance Committee approval.
Mr. Moderator, I second the motion.
Article number 12 having been made and seconded, dealing with the sum of $2,754 for the Conservation Committee for administering the Mass General Law, Chapter 131, Section 40, the Wetlands Protection Act, put on your warrant at the request of the Conservation Committee. Questions, comments, or discussion under the article? There being none, all in favor signify by raising your hand now, please. Thank you. And opposed? Thank you. The article is passed unanimously. Article 13.
Mr. Moderator, I move that the town vote to take from free cash the sum of $10,000, said sum to be placed in an interest-bearing account to be dedicated to the partial funding of a sesquicentennial celebration for the town of Clinton in the year 2000. This carries Finance Committee approval.
Mr. Moderator, I second the motion.
Article number 13, dealing with sum of $10,000 to be placed in an interest-bearing account dedicated to the partial funding for a celebration for the town of Clinton for the year 2000. You're not going to catch me on that one. Questions, comments, or discussion under Article 13? There being none, all in favor signify by raising your hand now, please. Thank you. And opposed? Thank you. The celebration will be held. Article 14.
Mr. Moderator, Article 14. I move that the town vote to take from free cash the sum of $10,000, said sum to be used to establish a senior tax rebate program. This carries Finance Committee approval.
Mr. Moderator, I second the motion.
Article number 14 have been made and seconded, dealing the sum of $10,000 to be used to establish a senior citizen tax rebate program. Finance Committee approved. Questions, comments, or discussion under Article 14? There being none, all in favor signify by raising your hand now, please. Thank you. And opposed? Thank you. The article is passed unanimously. Article 15.
Mr. Moderator, Article 15. I move that the town vote to transfer from the stabilization fund the sum of $25,000, said sum to be expended by the town solicitor with the approval of the Board of Selectmen for the balance of legal fees associated with the pending case of the MWRA versus Town of Clinton. This carries the Finance Committee approval.
Mr. Moderator, I second the motion.
Article number 15 have been made and seconded, dealing with a sum of $25,000 to be expended by the town solicitor with the approval of Board of Selectmen for the balance of legal fees associated with the case of the MWRA, which we're all familiar with, versus the Town of Clinton. As part of this is past expenditures that went on during the court case that we lost, if you remember, for $6.5 million. This is actually an unpaid bill and will be treated as a 9/10 item because of that. Questions, comments, or discussion under Article 15? There being none, let's try this first. All in favor signify by raising your hand now, please. Thank you. And opposed? Thank you. The article is passed unanimously. Article 16.
Mr. Moderator, Article 16. I move that the town vote to transfer from the stabilization fund the sum of $50,000, said sum to be placed into a special litigation to be used by the town solicitor with the approval of the Board of Selectmen for future litigation necessary to protect the town's right regarding water and sewer services. This carries the Finance Committee approval.
I'll second that, Mr. Moderator.
Article number 16, dealing with a sum of $50,000 to be used, placed for special litigation fund to be used by the town solicitor with the approval of the Board of Selectmen for future litigation that may be necessary with the MWRA. Questions, comments, or discussion under the article? I think the basis behind this, ladies and gentlemen, is that, you know, the MWRA has a building full of lawyers down in Boston. And when it comes time that they sometimes like to pick on the town of Clinton, we don't always have time to call a town meeting to fight them. So that this would give money in reserve for the selectmen to begin fighting against them should something else occur. Not that we think anything is, but you never know. Questions, comments, or discussion? There being none, all in favor signify by raising your hand now, please. Thank you. And opposed? Thank you. The article is passed unanimously. Article 17.
Mr. Moderator, Article 17. I move that the town vote to table this article.
Mr. Moderator, I second the motion.
Article number 17, a motion has been made to table Article 17. The selectmen have reconsidered that article and going to go about this in a different way in the future. So we'll take a vote to table at this time. All in favor of tabling Article 17 indicate by raising your hand now, please. Thank you. And opposed? Thank you. The article is tabled. Article 18.
Mr. Moderator, Article 18. I move that the town vote to rescind the authorization to expend the balance of $40,000 of unissued bonds from the vote of Article 10 of the special town meeting held on October 29, 1985, pertaining to the borrowing for an elevator for the Clinton High School.
Mr. Moderator, I second the motion.
Article number 18 have been made and seconded, dealing with the authorization to expend $40,000 of unused bonds. Questions, comments, or discussion? Mr. Ward.
Mr. Moderator, I hope everyone can hear me picking up the mic here. Just wanted a quick explanation of the next two articles. These were put on by request of the town treasurer. These were past authorizations that town meeting had given for borrowing for specific projects. When those projects were done, they did not cost the amount that was authorized by town meeting. However, this authorization is still being carried on the treasurer's books. Only town meeting can rescind a borrowing authorization. So this is not money that was borrowed or not money that's sitting anywhere. This is just an authorization on paper that's carried year to year by the treasurer. This would allow her to clean this up and balance her books, and it will not count against our town's debt limit if we remove these.
Any further questions, comments, or discussion under Article 18? There being none, all in favor signify by raising your hand now, please. Thank you. And opposed? Thank you. The article is passed. Article 19.
Mr. Moderator, Article 19. I move that the town vote to rescind the authorization to expend the balance of $135,000 of unissued bonds for the vote of Article 30 of the special town meeting held on February 27, 1973, pertaining to the borrowing for construction of a sewer project.
Mr. Moderator, I second the motion.
Article numbers 19 have been made and seconded, the sum of $135,000 of unissued bonds. The philosophy, ladies and gentlemen, on Article 19 is the same as it was in Article 18. Same situation that Mr. Ward explained to you exists, only under a different project. Questions, comments, or discussion? There being none, all in favor signify by raising your hand now, please. Thank you. And opposed? Thank you. The article is passed.
Mr. Moderator, I make a motion that we adjourn special town meeting.
I'll second that motion.
All in favor of adjourning town meeting, raise your hand now, please. Thank you. And opposed? Thank you. That is the conclusion of the special town meeting that was to be held last fall. Ladies and gentlemen, the quorum for the annual town meeting, which is to be held now, is 250 registered voters. In my humble opinion, there is an excess of 250 people in this hall right now. And unless I hear an objection, I'm going to dispense with a formal taking of a quorum. Yeah. And we will declare this meeting open.
You got any papers on it? I haven't got a copy of it either.
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, the warrants will be passed out to you. We will begin the actual articles in 5 minutes. 5 minutes, we will begin Article 1 of the annual town meeting.
Don't let them out. Oh, Jesus Christ. See? You can't let them out. Get them. You're going to lose them. Michael, you're going to lose them. You got to call it right away. Go ahead, get going. Oh, Jesus Christ. There won't be anybody here.
These first three, where the money come from? Raise and appropriate or take?
Jimmy has the script.
He didn't read it.
Well, he didn't because he didn't have the script. Mike wasn't up here yet. I think they were all for cash.
I just want to know whether.
Yeah, I'm sure they were for cash.
Okay, thanks.
Should have said something. Should have said something. I didn't have it on here. He had the copy.
If I said something, you didn't have.
She can put it in there, but she can't spend it. She can't spend it without you changing the job. Ladies and gentlemen, please find a seat so we can get started with Article 1. Everyone in the back, please find a seat. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, is there anyone who does not have a warrant for the annual town meeting? Raise your hand if you do not have a warrant for the annual town meeting. Karen. Yeah, I hear you.
Ladies, people want their street space. What can I do?
Want their what?
Their street space.
Ladies and gentlemen, Article 1.
Mr. Moderator, Article 1. I move that the town vote to receive the reports of the town officers and to act therein.
Mr. Moderator, I second the motion.
Article number 1 have been made and seconded. Questions, comments, or discussion? There being none, all in favor signify by raising your hand now, please. Thank you. And opposed? The article is passed unanimously. Article 2.
Article 2, Mr. Moderator, I move that the town vote to take from free cash the sum of $41,548 and from the Ambulance Enterprise Fund retained earnings the sum of $4,725. Said sums to fund the first year of a 3-year negotiated agreement.
These are just the funding sources. These are just the funding sources which are coming from different accounts.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, the words you hear from the stage in introducing an article to you is going to be a little bit different, and you'll have to follow along, than what you have in front of you. The reason being that the funding sources for articles are not usually known until just before the meeting when they try and balance the budget. So what happens is, in your warrant, they put down a number of funding sources as potential to be used during the article. And the explanation from the chairman of the board, as he reads it to you, is the actual funding sources being used to fund the article. And that's why there would be a discrepancy in what you're seeing. What he reads is in your article, but it's probably a little different. I hope that clears that up. Yes, the dollars are the same, the figures are the same, the funding sources would not would be a little bit different than what is exactly in your warrant. Okay? But the dollar amounts are the same. Okay.
Article 2, Mr. Moderator, I move that the town vote to take from free cash the sum of $41,548 and from the Ambulance Enterprise Fund retained earning the sum of $4,725. Said sums to fund the first year of a 3-year negotiated agreement beginning July 1st, 1996, between the Town of Clinton to the Board of Selectmen and the International Association of Firefighters, Local 3189, having been negotiated in accordance with Mass General Laws, Chapter 150E, as amended. This carries the approval of the Finance Committee.
Mr. Moderator, I second the motion.
Okay, Article number 2 is a negotiated contract between the Board of Selectmen and the Clinton firefighters for a 3-year contract for a raise of 4%, 4%, and 4% over 3 years, negotiated from them. This article has the approval of the Finance Committee, and you would thereby vote, as you did in the previous warrant, vote for the first year of the contract, and the other two would automatically become part of the contract and part of the budget. Questions, comments, or discussion under Article 2? Certainly. Article 2 would be $41,548 from free cash and $4,725 from the Ambulance Enterprise Fund, which would total the figure that you have on your warrant. Okay. Questions, comments, or discussion under Article 2? There being none, we'll take a vote at this time. All in favor signify by raising your hand now, please. Thank you. And opposed? Thank you. The article is passed unanimously. Article 3.
Mr. Moderator, Article 3. I move that the town vote to take from free cash the sum of $38,731, said sum to fund the first year of a 3-year negotiated agreement beginning July 1st, 1996, between the town of Clinton to the Board of Selectmen and the Massachusetts Coalition of Police, Local 151, having been negotiated in accordance with Massachusetts General Laws, Chapter 150E as amended. This carries the approval of the Finance Committee.
Mr. Moderator, I second the motion.
Article number 3, having made and seconded the contract agreement made by your Board of Selectmen and the Clinton Police Department, 3-year contract also for 4%, 4%, and 4%. This being the first year of the contract requires town meeting approval. Questions, comments, or discussion under the article? There being none, all in favor signify by raising your hand now, please. Thank you. And opposed? Thank you. The article is passed unanimously. Article 4.
Mr. Moderator, Article 4. I move that the town vote to fix the salaries and compensation of all elected town officials of the town as provided by Chapter 41, Section 108 of the Massachusetts General Laws as amended. Said salaries and compensation to be effective from July 1st, 1997 to June 30th, 1998, and to raise and appropriate the sum of money therefor.
Mr. Moderator,
This carries the approval of the Finance Committee.
Mr. Moderator, I second the motion.
Article number 4, having made and seconded, fixing the salaries and compensation for all elected officials of the town of Clinton. Annual article. Questions, comments, or discussion? Sir. Okay. Any further questions, comments, or discussion? Sir.
Richard J. McIntyre, Orange Street. I just want to know how we're going to fix the salaries. Is there certain percentage raises and stuff like that, or?
I'm sorry.
Says you're going to fix the salaries.
Speak up a little louder.
Says you're going to fix the salaries.
Yes, this would set the salaries.
How do you set them? That's what I want to know. I mean, are we going to give somebody that works 6 hours a week $10,000 or what?
The figures are in the budget, which is in the back of the warrant article that you have, that the people would be getting if you would choose to approve that later with the dollar amount. If you look at the back of your warrant, under, pick any elected official that you want. You start with mine if you like.
Okay.
Moderator, $100, you'll see it in there. Okay?
Wow. Okay, I understand now. Thank you.
All right?
You can add hours, too.
Any further questions, comments, or discussion? Sir.
Tom Vetras, Bear Path. I move to amend the salary of the treasurer from $34,823 to $37,823, which would change the treasurer's subtotal from $105,648 to $108,648. The current treasurer has been in the position for 7 years.
Tom,
Yes.
What we're going to do, article, what I'm going to ask you to do is redo this under article, the budget. When we get into the budget itself,
Okay. You're going to go through each line?
Yeah, we're gonna
You
go
are.
through each line item then. That
Okay.
would really be the place to do that. This sets the figure, but the dollar amounts to be placed in it would be set under the budget itself, and I'd be happy to
So
recognize you then.
you're going to go through each line item?
Yes. Each department. Not under this article, though, under a future article when the budget comes up. Any further questions, comments, or discussion? Sir?
Mark Furno, 395 Chestnut Street. Does this article mean that the state has set given salaries or salary rates or brackets or something, and
No.
therefore we can't in fact change them in Article 5? Or what exactly does it mean? What state, what does Section 108 say?
See, what you have, the funding source, what we're trying to do is, instead of voting on something twice, vote on something once, and it'll have the same effect. And if you put it if you vote on it now, then you're still gonna have to put it in the budget later. It doesn't get in the budget by itself. So what we're trying to do is just do it once under the budget, either you pass it or fail it at that time. Okay? But there is no state law encompassing this. This is a town thing. Questions, comments, or discussion under the article? There being none, all in favor signify by raising your hand now, please. Thank you. And opposed? Thank you. The article is passed. Article 5.
Mr. Moderator, Article 5, I move that the town vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $19,208,858.52 and to transfer and appropriate the sum of $105,661.48 from available free cash and to transfer and appropriate the sum of $30,000 from the Cemetery Trust Fund and to appropriate the sum of $470,268 from the Sewer Enterprise Account and to appropriate the sum of $150,710 from the Ambulance Enterprise Fund. Said sums to be used to defray town charges from July 1st, 1997 to June 30th, 1998, as these charges appear in the Finance Committee's report of recommendations. Mr. Moderator, this carries the Finance Committee approval.
Mr. Moderator, I second the motion.
Okay, Article number 5 has been made and seconded. This is your budget for the next fiscal year beginning July 1st. What I'd like to do now is call your attention in your...
Good boy, Jeff.
This is getting hard here. Yeah, I'd like to call your attention to the Finance Committee section on expenditures in the back of the warrant that you have. Top of the page, it says Moderator. And we're going to go through this department by department. And if you have a question or a comment or an amendment, as we go over each department, raise your hand, I will call on you, you come up and do it. If we go by something and you're looking back, you still have a question or a comment or whatnot, you know, I will have a catch-all at the end to catch anything that we do not get as we're going through it. So you will have two chances really at getting at any one particular department. All right, at the top of the page, Moderator, Selectmen's Department, Finance Committee Reserve, Town Accountant, Town Solicitor, Parking Fines Administrator, the Assessors Department, Town Treasurer's Department. Sir.
Tom Vetras, Bear Path. I move to revise the treasurer's salary from $34,823 to $37,823, which will change the treasurer's subtotal from $105,648 to $108,648. The current treasurer has been in the position for
Okay,
seven...
wait a minute, Tom. Okay, we have a motion on the floor to increase the treasurer's salary from $34,823 that's printed in your warrant to $37,823, which would increase the bottom line to $108,648. Is there a second on that motion? Okay, the motion has been made and seconded. Now on to discussion on the amendment to the budget. Mr. Vetras.
Okay. The treasurer has been in the position for 7 years, and prior to that, worked in the treasurer's office for 7 years, the last 1.5 years as the acting treasurer. When she officially became the town treasurer in 1990, the salary was dropped from $35,000 to $30,000. In the 7 years since then, it has not even returned to the salary of 1990, and this adjustment will begin to bring her salary into line with other town officials in similar positions.
Still under discussion on the amendment to Article 5. Any further discussion? There being none, we'll take a vote at this time. We're voting on the amendment to Article 5. All in favor of the amendment to Article 5 to increase the budget, indicate by raising your hand now, please. Thank you. And opposed? Thank you. The amendment passes. So we will now move on to Article 5 as amended. Still under Treasurer, Treasurer's Department. Collector of Taxes. Miscellaneous. Next page, Town Clerk's Department. Conservation. Planning Board. Zoning Board of Appeals. Office of Economic Development. Town Hall. Veterans Rents. Town Hall preparation, Town Report preparation, excuse me. Police Department. Next page. Fire Department. You want to speak?
Just want to point out the adjusted budget for fiscal year 1997 should read $88,000. This year, to fund at approximately the same level, calculating it in January, I had requested $105,000. The Board of Selectmen and the Finance is recommended $70,000. I'm going to do everything I can to stay within the $70,000. However, I think it's important to understand that we're looking at potentially $100,000 for fire overtime. Thank you.
No other discussion under the Fire Department. Building Inspector. Gas Inspector. Deal with the waste and measures. Fire Inspector. Annuity. Next page. Civil Defense. Dog Officer. School Department. Department of Public Works. The Street Department. Cemetery Department. Water Department. Trash Department. Board of Health. Ma'am.
Good evening. My name is Deborah Grant. I'm from 17 Clamshell Road in Clinton. I'm the chairman of the Board of Health. I'd like to see if the town will amend the health inspector salary from $14,485 to $20,280 and amend the subtotal of the Board of Health budget from $72,519 to $78,314. This is a difference of $5,795.
Okay, there is a motion on the floor to, you have that, to increase the Board of Health salary. So first of all, is there a second to that motion? Second. Okay. The health inspector salary from $14,485 to $20,280 is what you're looking at. Questions, comments, or discussion?
Okay. The reason I want to increase it from 14,480 and with the difference of 57.95 is I'd like to make this position full-time. This position currently is a 25-hour position, and we'd like to bring it up to 35 hours. The Finance Committee did tell us during our talks with them that there was a floating person in the town hall that that she would be available for our office to help us out, but she would only be available to our office 2 hours a week, and that has been told to us by the person that handles her and her hours. So we don't have very much access to her. 2 hours really doesn't make a difference in our department. Our department is 0.5% of the total budget, and we administer the public health of the town. We issue approximately or over 150 permits a year. We do 2 inspections on every food establishment in town. That's any of the supermarkets, all the restaurants, any of the small convenience stores, anything that has a food or limited food license. We also answer all housing complaints. We do a lot for the town in that office, and I don't think that 1/2 of the total budget is very much a percentage for what we do. We should be a priority department. Fire, police, and Board of Health, public health is a very big issue to the town. We feel we do a good job, but we do feel that we need a full-time position right now. We currently are the only department in the town hall that does not have a full-time person at this time. And I'd like to make this a full-time position at this time to just at least keep up with the work. The current person does a very good job, and the current staff does a very good job, but they're all, there's always more to do, and they always put something on the back burner. So we'd like to at least keep them current and trying to provide as much service for the town as possible.
Okay, if I could, just at this time, Debbie, just, there is a problem here in the sense that we've got a personnel board now, okay? Now, with an appointed position, okay, you can change that figure from what's in the warrant. If they want to put $1 million in it, you can do it. The problem is, I don't think you can spend it without going through the personnel board. Okay? So I don't think you can actually go through. My understanding is with the personnel board that you can't change the position without having their approval first, or having their approval.
We sent when we did the budget, we sent to ask the personnel board also to adjust the hours for 10 hours more.
Okay.
And I never received anything back from them. I don't even know if there is a personnel board at this time.
Okay. Mr. Bailey. We'll try and get
We tried to go through all the proper channels before this.
I understand.
Mr. Moderator, ladies and gentlemen, the request by the chairman of the Board of Health is completely out of order. She has to go through the Personnel Board in October and submit a job of what she would like to do in October. It's reviewed by the Personnel Board. We reviewed their budget. It was agreed that we have a person in the town hall, much like a supernumerary, that a request for 4 or 5 hours for filing or phone answering by the selectman or any office that's needed, this girl is being paid $10,000 a year to do this. If a request is made to the administrative assistant, that was agreed to be taken care of. 3 years ago, the Finance Committee voted to increase the lady's hours to 20 hours. Fine, that's all we want. Then they had a filing problem. We certainly tried to take care of the filing problem. Now, when they want to change a job description, they have to write it up, send it to the Personnel Board, and we go through all this. In October, November, January, it's been 6 months. We reviewed their budget. We told them where we stood. If they want more hours to do filing, they certainly can ask the administrator. The budget, this request is completely out of order. She's got to go through the proper channels. if you want to vote the money, she can't spend it. And I hope the moderator explains that to you. You can raise it to 30,000, but all she's going to get is 25 hours or 20 hours at her wage, and that's as far as she can go, unless they go through the proper procedure, like everyone else in this town does.
Okay, do you understand what, I guess the bottom line here is, because of the Personnel Board, is, you know, and I'm going to allow the vote, if you want the vote, I'm going to allow the vote to occur, but I want the Board of Health to understand that if the town meeting agrees to put the money in the budget, it can do, you know, that can be done, but it really can't be spent, or the job description cannot change until the Personnel Board has dealt with it.
Okay, can you tell me, is there a personnel board currently at this time?
I know Mr. Bailey is on it, I know.
Yeah, but is there a current personnel board? Can anybody answer me that?
Okay? Let me see if I can get myself out of this one. There are presently 2 members of the Personnel Board, to answer your question, and they are recruiting new members, by the way, if anyone is available.
Okay, so now, like I said, we tried to go through the proper channels in the very beginning. I did put in a request to the Personnel Board, and apparently the Personnel Board never met. So, you know, I'm stuck here.
I hear you.
And it's not to file, this is to run the department, you know, to make the department run more smoothly.
The argument's not how long, I'm not questioning any of that. All I'm saying is it's got to be done through proper channels
Okay.
because of the Personnel Board that was created by this town back, 2 years ago.
Okay.
I still think you're stuck, though. I really do, in terms of...
All right, if the town appropriates this money now, and they appoint a personnel board, and there's enough people to meet within the next few months before the new fiscal year, can that be implemented? Can the 5,700
If the Personnel Board agrees to change your position, and the money is already in the budget, you could spend it.
All right,
But you can't spend it
right, until
without
then.
that approval.
Okay, I understand.
Okay. So we have before us a motion to increase the health inspector's salary position from $14,485 to $20,280. Any further questions, comments, or discussion on the amendment? I do, Mr. Moderator. Sir.
My name is Mark Pinowski. I live at 7 Fitch Road in Clinton, and I'd like to know what the qualification of the health inspector is a registered sanitarian to accept this amount of money.
Oh, excuse me, a registered what?
A registered sanitarian with the state of Massachusetts.
Okay, so you're looking for the qualifications of
The
the
qualifications that he has to accept that amount of money.
Okay, could someone from the Board of Health just explain the qualifications for the position?
The health inspector does the inspections in the town. We don't have, currently, she was a registered nurse. She has a college degree. We don't require that position to be a registered sanitarian.
Is there any further discussion on the amendment to Article 5, specifically the health inspector salary account? There being none, we'll vote at this time. All in favor of the increase of the health inspector's salary position to $20,280 indicate by raising your hand now, please. Thank you. And opposed? Thank you. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, all in favor indicate by raising your hand now, please. Thank you. And opposed? Gentlemen, I'm going to have a ballot vote, not a ballot vote, a hand vote, specifically counted. Make sure your hand remains in the air until it is counted. All in favor of the amendment to Article 5 indicate by raising your hand now, please. Keep your hand in the air until it is counted.
I resign as the personnel.
You can't.
Would you read that to the people? 3.
Phil, it doesn't mean that. Hey, She just put $1 million in our budget. That's all it's saying. They understand? They can't? Please explain that. Thank you. Oh, you gave me 18, 18, 25. Thank you. Now opposed at this time, would you raise your hand now, please? Thank you. Keep your hand in the air until you know it is counted.
If they vote for it, they can't spend it.
That's right. I'll explain that.
Would you run that by them again?
I did. With a vote of 71 to 66, the amendment has passed. Still on the Board of Health. Council on Aging. Veterans Office. Ladies and gentlemen. Library Department. Next page. Parks and Recreation. Fuller Field. Miscellaneous. Ambulance Enterprise Fund. Sewer Enterprise Fund on the next page. And then you have a summary page for you, which has been slightly amended, as you know. I will at this time go back. Does anyone have a question, comment, or discussion to make in regards to any part of the budget? Mr. Friel.
The requested budget of $86,896, changing the bottom line to $107,500, which adds $2,755 to the total salary account for the three assessors.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, there is a motion on the floor to increase the Board of Assessors salaries from $84,141 to $86,896, an increase of $2,755, increasing the total to $107,500. Is there a second on that motion? Second. Questions, comments, or discussion on the amendment to the assessor's budget? Sir.
2 years ago, when we had two new assessors, the budget was adjusted downward because the two new assessors didn't get raises, which was okay because we were new. But that lowered the base total amount for the whole office. So for continuing years, like now, the 4% increase that everybody gets is based on a lower amount than it should be if they had gotten those raises. So All we're trying to do is make that adjustment so that it comes out equal with everybody else, so everybody gets the same 4% raise. Thank you.
Still under discussion on the proposed increase in the assessor's salary account? There being none, all will vote at this time. All in favor of the increase in the assessor's salary indicate by raising your hand now, please. Thank you. And opposed? Thank you. Once again, folks, all in favor? Thank you. And opposed? Once more. Nice and high. One hand only, though. All in favor, please indicate by raising your hand now, please. Thank you. And opposed? Thank you. The motion is passed. Is there any further amendments or questions or comments about any part of the budget before you as amended? Okay, now I have to give you the bad news. This budget has now been amended by $11,550 over what the Finance Committee recommended to you. There is a bylaw in the town of Clinton that any article that is more than $10,000 of what the Finance Committee approves has to be taken by ballot. So the vote on the entire budget must be taken by ballot because we are now at $11,550 over what they recommended. Anything over $10,000 puts us in a ballot situation. Anything over $10,000 more than that. Okay? Could you get the ladies out back? We need ballots too, Nick. Where are the ballots? Stanley, could you get the ballots over in the box there? If you could just sit tight for a minute or two, we'll get this set up and then we'll get started. What color you want? Blue? Ladies, if we get the ladies in the back to come forward, please. Ladies in the back, come forward. One and two. 1 and 2 over here. 3 and 4 over here. All right, ladies and gentlemen, precincts, if you vote yes, you are voting for the budget as amended. If you vote no, you are voting against the budget altogether. This is the entire budget you are voting on. Yes is for it, no is against it. Precincts 1 and 2 will come up this way. Check off your name, take a ballot, put it in the box. 3 and 4 over here.
I gotta vote. I'll be right back.
Article 6.
Mr. Moderator, Article 6, I move that the town vote to authorize the town treasurer and town collector to enter in a compensating balance agreement for fiscal 1998 pursuant to Chapter 44, Section 53F of the Mass General Laws of the Amendment. Finance Committee approved.
Mr. Moderator, I second the motion.
Article number 6 having been made and seconded. Annual article requiring the town treasurer and town collector to put monies they collect for you in interest-bearing accounts. Questions, comments, or discussion? There being none, all in favor signify by raising your hand now, please. And opposed? Thank you. The article is passed unanimously. Article 7.
Mr. Moderator, Article 7, I move that the town vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $4,800, said sum to be expended for social services in accordance with programs as approved by the Board of Selectmen. Finance Committee approved.
Mr. Moderator, I second the motion.
Article number 7 have been made and seconded, dealing with the sum of $4,800 for social services. Finance Committee approved. Questions, comments, or discussion? There being none, all in favor signify by raising your hand now, please. Thank you. And opposed? Thank you. The article is passed. Article 8.
Mr. Moderator, Article 8, I move that the town vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $7,000, said sum to be expended as the town of Clinton share to the Wachusett Health Education Action Team, WHEAT Incorporated, which committee is a delegate agency of the Montechusett Opportunity Council Incorporated. Mr. Moderator, this article carries the Finance Committee approval.
Mr. Moderator, I second the motion.
Article number 8 have been made and seconded, dealing with the sum of $7,000 for wheat. Questions, comments, or discussion? There being none, all in favor signify by raising your hand now, please. Thank you. And opposed? Thank you. The article is passed. Article 9.
Mr. Moderator, Article 9. I move that the town vote to take from free cash the sum of $123,000 and to transfer from the stabilization fund the sum of $125,000, said sum to be expended by the Board of Selectmen for the expansion and renovation of the Clinton Police Station. Mr. Moderator, this carries the Finance Committee approval.
Mr. Moderator, I second the motion.
Article number 9 have been made and seconded, dealing with the sum of $123,000 taken from free cash and $125,000 from stabilization to help fund the expansion and renovation of the Clinton Police Station. Questions, comments, or discussion under Article 9? There being none, this article requires a 2/3 vote for passage as money is coming from the stabilization fund. All those in favor signify by raising your hand now, please. Thank you. And opposed? Thank you. The article is passed unanimously. Article 10.
Mr. Moderator, Article 10. I move that the town vote to transfer from the stabilization fund the sum of $48,000, said sum to be expended by the police department for the purchase of 2 new police cruisers. Mr. Moderator, this carries Finance Committee approval.
Mr. Moderator, I second the motion.
Article number 10 have been made and seconded, dealing with the sum of $48,000 for 2 new police cruisers for the police department, again coming from the stabilization fund, requiring a 2/3 vote. Questions, comments, or discussion under the article? Sir.
Blew the estimate on the police station by $250,000. I'm interested in why we should buy these cars this year. Are the current ones in such disrepair that it'll cost more than $24,000 each to fix them? Do we have more officers this year than we've had in past years? How many miles per year are put on a cruiser? Given that we never seem to ticket anyone for crossing the yellow and parking the wrong way, they can't be that worn out. I'd just like to hear a justification.
Okay, if,
I'd just like to hear a justification for why we need these cars. Thank you.
I can, Chief.
Who's that guy?
Yes, Mark Loviger.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's listen to the answer, please.
My name's Mark Loviger. I'm the police chief in town. The cruisers, that's $48,000. That's a purchase. 2 Crown Victorias. We have a eight-month rotation on the cruisers. Every 8 months, we replace 1 cruiser, so we always have at least 1 new reliable cruiser to serve you. The newest cruiser right now, last time I was in it, had 38,000 miles, and that was a couple weeks ago. And right now, it probably has over 40,000. We put 1,200 miles on a cruiser per week. And in 14 months, if you don't approve these cruisers, that newest cruiser will exceed 100,000 miles, well over 100,000 miles. So it will be over 14 months before we be able to purchase a new cruiser if we don't approve them tonight. So it's 1,200 miles per week that you put on your new cruisers.
Okay. Is there any further questions, comments, or discussion under Article 10? There being none, we'll take a vote at this time. All in favor of Article 10 indicate by raising your hand now, please. Thank you. And opposed? Thank you. The article is passed. Article 11.
Mr. Moderator, Article 11. I move that the town vote to transfer from the stabilization fund the sum of $20,000, said sum to be expended by the Board of Health for the purpose of purchasing a new fire alarm system for the Clinton Town Hall. Mr. Moderator, this carries the Finance Committee approval.
Article number 11 have been made and seconded, dealing with the sum of $20,000 for a new fire alarm system for the Clinton Town Hall. Questions, comments, or discussion under the article? Sir.
Joseph Gibbons, 58 Laurel Street. My question is, wasn't there money in the budget for this to be done? This alarm system in this town hall is less than 15 years old. And wasn't there money in the budget when you got the renovation of the town hall for this?
There was not money in the renovation of the town hall for the fire alarm system. The wiring had been updated, so it was felt that the fire alarm would be able to withstand a few more years. In turn, since the building has been done, we found that the system is very outdated. I think the wiring will still be okay, but the system itself is very outdated. We need to modernize that and get a center control panel for the fire department so that all the units are all tied in together. It's something that we've been having a lot of problems with, a lot of false alarms. And the fire department was up here daily and even several times a day because of the problems and the false alarms. We've had electricians looking at it, and the electricians feel that the costs of trying to find all the problems and repair them, you would be almost approaching the cost of a new system.
Any further questions, comments, or discussion under Article 11? There being none, we'll take a vote at this time. All in favor signify by raising your hand now, please. Thank you. And opposed? Thank you. The article is passed.
Disapprove. This is the disapproved article. You want to move it to the end? Yes. You want to move it to the end of the article? Yeah. Yes. Okay. Yes. You want to move it to the end of the warrant? Yes. Somebody make a motion. Mr. Moderator, I'll make a motion that this article be moved to the end of the warrant.
That's Article 12, Mr.
Article 12.
And I'll second.
Okay, there's a motion to move Article 12 to the end of the warrant to be voted on last. Explanation being, Article 12 has been disapproved by your Finance Committee. It is an expenditure of more than $10,000. It is coming from the stabilization fund. What all that means is it is a ballot vote, and it requires a two-thirds vote by ballot for passage. And the feeling is that if we're going to do another secret ballot vote, we should probably do it at the end of the night and not take up time with doing that now. Then you can vote and go home and not be tied up waiting for the vote to be counted. I will assure you, if you pass this, that once we begin discussion on Article 12 at the end of the ballot, I will not take reconsideration on any article. Because I think that's only fair, because I'm telling you, you can go home. I don't think it's fair to let reconsideration be occurring then when there's only a few people here. So the motion is to move Article 12 to make it in effect, take effect after Article 23. All in favor of moving the article indicate by raising your hand now, please. Thank you. And opposed? Thank you. Okay, the article is moved. We will now move to Article 13.
Mr. Moderator, Article 13. I move that the town vote to transfer from the stabilization fund the sum of $30,000, said sum to be expended by the Board of Selectmen for the construction of a water disinfectant booster station to serve the Lancaster Road, Fox Run Drive, Ridgefield, and Woodruff Heights areas. This article has been approved by the Finance Board.
Mr. Moderator, I'll second the motion.
Article number 13 have been made and seconded dealing with the sum of $30,000 for construction of a water disinfectant booster station for Lancaster Road, Fox Run Drive, Ridgefield, and Woodruff Heights areas. Questions, comments, or discussion under the article? There being none, a two-thirds vote is required as it is coming from the stabilization fund. All in favor signify by raising your hand now, please. Thank you. And opposed? Thank you. The article is passed unanimously. Article 14.
Mr. Moderator, Article 14. I move that the town vote to accept Chapter 41, Section 23A of the Massachusetts General Laws as amended relative to the appointment of a town administrator.
Mr. Moderator, I second the motion.
Article number 14 have been made and seconded, dealing with the town accepting Chapter 41, Section 23A, relative to the appointment of a town administrator. Questions, comments, or discussion under Article 14? Sir.
Mr. Moderator, would somebody explain the difference between a town manager and a town moderator?
Joe, you said a town moderator.
A town manager or the town administrator, then, excuse me.
Okay.
Yes. A town manager, I believe, would require a charter commission, in that the department heads, such as the fire chief, police chief, DPW, et cetera, would be reporting directly to that manager, and he would have all responsibility. He would have the responsibility for those positions, including hire and fire responsibility. A town administrator does that through the Board of Selectmen, which continues to be the chief executive officer of the town. A town manager would, in effect, be the chief executive operating officer of the town, as opposed to a town administrator who would be the agent of the Board of Selectmen. So that's basically the difference as I understand it.
Still under discussion under Article 14. Any further questions, comments, or discussion? There being none, take a vote at this time. All in favor of Article 14, please indicate by raising your hand now, please. Thank you. And opposed? Thank you. The article is passed. Article 15.
Mr. Moderator, Article 15. I move that the town vote to amend the Town of Clinton Personnel Bylaw in Part 53-5 by inserting at the end thereof the following new sentence. Any employee returned to work after being out due to injury or illness for more than 30 calendar days shall be required to undergo a medical examination to determine if the employee is able to perform the duties consistent with their present job description.
Mr. Moderator, I'll second the motion.
Article number 15 have been made and seconded. Self-explanatory article. Questions, comments, or discussion under Article 15? There being none. All in favor signify by raising your hand now, please. Thank you. And opposed? Thank you. The article is passed. Article 16.
Mr. Moderator, Article 16. I move that the town vote to authorize the Board of Selectmen to accept from Edward H. Plant a quitclaim deed of approximately 2.5 acres of land located at 525 Water Street, book number 12573, page 342, in said town of Clinton. If after investigation, the Board of Selectmen deems the acceptance of such donation to be in the best interest of the town.
Mr. Moderator, I second the motion.
Article number 16 having been made and seconded. Ladies and gentlemen, this property is, for those who remember, it's the old Hoffman Building down on Water Street. If you look at the number, you probably wouldn't be able to figure that out, but it is the old Hoffman Building. What this would do, it would authorize the Board of Selectmen to, if they feel it's appropriate for the town to do so, to take it. Your vote would not require them to take it. I should tell you it is way behind in taxes, however. Okay. Questions, comments, or discussion under the article? Requiring a two-thirds vote. All in favor signify by raising your hand now, please. Thank you. And opposed? Thank you. Vote is passed. Article 17.
Mr. Moderator, Article 17. I move that the town vote to amend the Town of Clinton Administrative Bylaw in Article 1, Section 1 by striking the first sentence and adding in place thereof the following. All business of the annual meeting, except the election of such officers and the determination of such matters as by bylaw are required to be elected or determined at such a meeting. The raising and appropriating of money in anticipation of payment of taxes, the fixing of the salaries of town officers, and proposed changes or additions to the existing bylaw shall be considered at the annual town meeting, which should be held on the last Monday in April at 7:00 p.m.
Mr. Moderator, I second the motion.
Article number 17 have been made and seconded. What all this means, I just want to call your attention to the last line of the article. The only change here from your present bylaw is the time. The present bylaw says 7:30 p.m. o'clock. This would change the town meeting start to 7 o'clock instead of 7:30. Figure if we get you in here a little earlier, maybe we'll get you out of here a little earlier. That's the only change. Questions, comments, or discussion under the bylaw change? There being none, all in favor signify by raising your hand now, please. Thank you. And opposed? Thank you. The article is passed unanimously. Article 18.
Mr. Moderator, Article 18. I move that the town vote to amend the Town of Clinton Administrative Bylaws in Article 1, Section 3 by striking the existing section and adding in place thereof the following. Special town meeting shall be called on any day not earlier than 7:00 p.m., except that on Saturday, that they may be called earlier than 9:00 a.m.
Mr. Moderator, I second the motion.
Article number 18 have been made and seconded. Whereas Article 17 dealt with the annual town meeting, it's a different section of the bylaw. Article 18 deals with special town meetings, but it's the same change, from 7:30 p.m. to 7 p.m. Questions, comments, or discussion? There being none, all in favor signify by raising your hand now, please. Thank you. And opposed? The article is passed unanimously. Article 19.
Mr. Moderator, Article 19. I move that the town vote to amend the Town of Clinton Administrative Bylaws in Article 2, Section 2 by deleting the last sentence.
Mr. Moderator, I second the motion.
Article number 19 have been made and seconded. What this deals with, ladies and gentlemen, is the Finance Committee. And if you've followed any newspapers lately, you've noticed that the Finance Committee has been written up in terms of newspaper articles of late. Now, the sentence that this would remove from the bylaws is just one sentence, and I'll read it to you. The members of the Finance Committee shall be so chosen that at no time shall a majority thereof be of the same political party. I'll read it once again. This sentence would be removed if you approve the bylaw change. The members of the Finance Committee shall be so chosen that at no time shall a majority thereof be of the same political party. Now, I want to assure everybody, a couple of things here. First of all, despite what you may have read in the paper, the Finance Committee has been and is now in full compliance with the bylaw of 1914, despite anything that you saw in the paper. and that has been upheld by a legal opinion. However, during the information that was being passed around when this was in the paper, it was brought to the attention of the selectmen, more or less, talked about it themselves, and it was determined that the Finance Committee is the only elected or appointed board in the town of Clinton left that is still considered partisan. Every other elected or appointed board in the town of Clinton is nonpartisan, as voted on, I believe, back in the 70s. I don't remember it, but that's my understanding from those who have told me. Since the 70s, it's been nonpartisan. So the Finance Committee, as of right now, is still considered partisan, and that you can't have a majority of any one political party on the Finance Committee, which would constitute with 6 members. You can't have 4 Democrats, you can't have 4 Republicans, you can't have 4 Lyndon LaRouche parties or anything that else you might want to think of, okay? So this would subtract that sentence, and it would just be, appointments would be made on qualifications only. The political party would not matter. And that's the reason it's on your warrant. Questions, comments, or discussion under the article? There being none. Take a vote at this time. All in favor of Article 19 to delete the reference to partisan politics indicate by raising your hand now, please. Thank you. And opposed? Thank you. The article is passed. Okay. Article 20.
Mr. Moderator, Article 20. I move that the town vote to amend the Town of Clinton Administrative Bylaws in Article 35 to include the following new section. Section 1A, all owners of dogs shall be responsible for removal of excrement left by their dogs on areas other than their own private property.
Mr. Moderator, I'll second the motion.
Article 20 have been made and seconded. Self-explanatory, I won't read it. Questions, comments, or discussion? Ma'am? Well, okay. No, ma'am, I'm not questioning anything. Believe me, I'm not. But this really doesn't pertain to loose dogs. Maybe it does. I don't know. Did somebody make a motion to table this article? Thank you very much, ma'am. You've been very helpful.
Very helpful.
No, I'm not going to say it.
Hell, that was
Is there any further discussion under Article 20? Thank you. Sir? It's in the administrative bylaws. The administrative bylaws, as you tell you, were originally written in 1914. So this is a change in that.
Under the dog officers section. Under the dog.
It is listed under the dog officer section. Any further questions, comments, or discussion under Article 20? Ma'am?
Lisa Brick.
I'll entertain a motion if you want to make one. I mean, no. Any further questions, comments, or discussion? There being none, we'll vote at this time. All in favor of the amendment to the administrative bylaws, please indicate by raising your hand now, please. Thank you. And opposed? Thank you. The article is passed. Article 21.
I know. I'm listening. I want to hear the laugh. Article 21. Mr. Moderator, I move that the town vote to change the administrative bylaw, Article 1, Section 13, quorum to read. there shall be a quorum of 100 voters at a town meeting. At a special town meeting, there shall be a quorum of 50 voters. Citizen petition.
Mr. Moderator, I second the motion.
Article number 21 have been made and seconded. The citizens petition, which would lower the quorum to annual town meetings from a present level of 250 registered voters to 100, and for special town meetings from a present level of 200 to 50. Questions, comments, or discussion under Article 21? Sir.
What's going on with this?
Just dropped it 2 years ago and it worked out tonight. Why don't we give it a chance? I think 100 is ridiculous. Might as well not even have a vote. I think it's ridiculous.
Any further questions, comments, or discussion on the article? Yes.
I've been coming to town meetings ever since I was old enough to vote. More times than not, I've been sent home because 7,000 of the plus or minus registered voters were too lazy to come out. I think I'm in favor of lowering the quorum to 100 or eliminating it entirely. I don't think it's insulting to us as voters that take the time to show up here, to be sent home. This is the first town meeting I think I've been to in a while that has come off my schedule. And I think it's, if you lose the people that are interested in being here and running this town, they should be here, and this hall should be full. They don't want to show up, that's fine. 100 people want to run the town, they deserve to run it because they're the ones that came out here to do it. Thank you.
Still under discussion of the article, sir.
Good evening. My name is Joe Piccioti, and I live in Ridgefield condominiums. My wife and I are transplants from the state of New York. We never enjoyed the opportunity that you folks have by way of your government, by way of your ancestors. I think it's a marvelous, just a marvelous process. Town meeting, special meeting. I would hate to see you folks vote in favor of this, because if it's supposed to be representative government, no matter how we get people here, to ask 250 people to come out and vote on issues that are so important to all of us. I understand Mr. Conley's position, but at some point, there's no point in having representative government such as this. I say fight for it, don't lose it. It's a marvelous, marvelous thing. Kathy and I have enjoyed it. I understand that you come out and you spend your time, but this is real democracy to me. So either you stick with what you have and you fight for it and you bring your neighbors and you encourage your family and get the 250, but please think very carefully about reducing it so that it no longer represents the true spirit of government as it should be. Thank you.
Still under discussion under Article 21. Sir.
Richard Friel, Orange Street. Other towns that have adopted or lowered their quorum or eliminated the quorum have never had a problem having another town meeting. They get 300 or 400 people at the town meeting because you know it's going to happen. Even though we had enough tonight, there was a question up till the last minute whether you're going to be sent home. You'll never be sent home again. There'll always be at least 100 people here. I think it's a good idea to lower the quorum. And like Bill Conley said, maybe even eliminate it. There's a lot of towns that don't have a quorum. You know the meeting's going to go on, everybody shows up, and you get lots more people than you do when you have a quorum. Thank you.
Still under discussion under Article 21. Sir.
Mark Furneaux, 395 Chestnut. I apologize because I'm going to be repetitious, but I'm having trouble gauging the vote here. You can't have your cake and eat it too. Either you have a fairly pure form of democracy, where in theory every single registered voter can come in and vote on where your dog goes to the bathroom, or we go to a town manager and have the town run professionally. You're opening yourselves up to danger when you lower the quorum. 100 Martians move in and register to vote. Think about it. There's the Martian vote. There's the Martian block. Everybody else doesn't come because their neighbor will be there, so they don't have to. All 100 Martians come. What the Martians want, the Martians get. I think if we're going to have a representative government, then we should have a representative government. Thank you.
I'm not worried about Martians coming to vote on what my dog's going to do on my neighbor's lawn. What I'm worried about is there's 7,000 registered voters in this town, and time again, you get 250, 400 people that show up that care enough to run this town. If you don't have, by passing this article, you're not taking away anyone's right to participate in democracy. You're actually requiring people to be more responsible and show up here. If you're worried about 100 people or 50 people putting something through that the town doesn't want, then you should be here. And you shouldn't be, and people shouldn't be sent home because 7,000 other people don't care enough to come here. Thank you.
Sir.
Mr. Moderator, Donald Lowe, 17 Hughes Street. As someone who was an elected official for 6 years, I could observe firsthand the frustration trying to come out night after night, trying to get a budget passed, trying to do the right thing for the town. Nobody's right will be taken away from what you have now if people simply come out and vote. The key here is we've always talked about how do we get more people involved. Well, when you have young couples that have children, that have to schedule a babysitter, not knowing whether or not they're going to have to come home an hour later and still pay the babysitter. We talk about trying to get more people involved. If people can hang their hat on one night, they can come out. You'll get more people here than you ever had before, and you'll have democracy at its finest. Thank you.
Is there any further questions, comments, or discussion under Article 21? Sir.
Paul McGovern, 29 Harris Street. But if we're going to have more people coming out, then the hell with dropping it and leaving it where it is.
Any further questions, comments, or discussion? Sir.
Mr. Moderator, the reason why we have one is we didn't want the town run by a half a dozen people. That's why they initially put in a quorum. I think you ought to keep that, the 250, and try it for a while. You're not even wet on behind the ears still, for crying out loud. Keep it where it is.
Any further questions, comments, or discussion under the article? There being none, we'll take a vote at this time. If you vote yes, you'll be voting to lower the quorum. If you vote no, you'll be voting to leave the quorum where it is. All in favor of Article 21 indicate by raising your hand now, please. Thank you. And opposed? Okay, Article 21 is defeated. Article 22.
That's what I said. Mr. Moderator, Article 22. I move that the town vote to accept the provisions of Massachusetts General Law, Chapter 143, Section EY, relative to the appointment of the Inspector of Building. This is a citizen petition.
Mr. Moderator, I second the motion.
Article number 22 having been made and seconded, a citizen's petition relative for the town to accept the provisions of Mass General Laws, Chapter 143, Section 3Y, dealing with the appointment of an Inspector of Buildings. Questions, comments, or discussion under Article 22? Sir.
Mr. Moderator, could we please have somebody explain what this means so they know what they're talking about?
Mr. Friel.
Richard Friel, Orange Street. This article, Chapter 143, Section 3Y, is a 3-year appointment for the building inspector. Most towns have already adopted this. It's a local option law. In the future, right now we have a good building inspector, I believe, and someday he's going to leave. And if you have a 3-year appointment, you're going to have better applicants for the job. To have a job that you never know from year to year whether you're going to be appointed, it's kind of tough to get applicants for it. So this here is changes the job from a 1-year appointment to a 3-year appointment. And basically, that's what it does.
Okay. Still under discussion, sir.
Mr. Moderator, does he come under the Personnel Board, the building inspector?
Mr. Moderator, yes, he is under the personnel bylaw, to answer the question.
Yes, it does.
Right. Why is he any special to come out of it and have a contract? The other people in the town hall doesn't have one.
Well, the question is being addressed to the Board of Selectmen, so I'll answer it. This is a citizen's petition this was not put on the warrant by the Board of Selectmen. It's my opinion that this article should be defeated. The building inspector is a part of the personnel bylaw. He or she are not appointed for 1-year terms. They are appointed until they leave or until there is cause to remove them. So there's not a yearly vote to reappoint the building inspector. He has job security. And I think it would be unfortunate to sort of piecemeal dismantle the personnel bylaw that town meeting previously passed. So I hope this article is defeated.
Still under discussion? Under Article 22. Sir. Still under discussion under Article 22.
Well, Mr. Moderator, just to say again, because there seems to be some confusion, this warrant article was not put on the warrant by the Board of Selectmen, so the Board of Selectmen is seeking nothing in this warrant article. This was put on by a citizen's petition. At annual town meeting, I think it's 10 citizens can vote to put an article on the warrant. And it goes there. We have nothing to say about it. We just take it, put it on the warrant. That's what happened here. So, and again, I hope it's defeated. I agree with Mr. Bailey on that.
Any further questions, comments, or discussion under Article 22? There being none, we'll take a vote at this time. Yes is in favor of the article, no is opposed to it. All those in favor of Article 22, please indicate by raising your hand now, please. Thank you. And opposed? Thank you. The article is defeated. Article 23.
Mr. Moderator, Article 23. I move that the town vote to receive the reports of the outstanding committees and act on their, and on May 5th, 1997, at the Town Hall in said Clinton, from 7 a.m. till 8 p.m., elect by ballot the following officers. 1 member of the Board of Selectmen for a term of 3 years, 1 moderator to serve for a term of 1 year, one member of the Board of Assessors to serve for a term of 3 years, 2 members of the school committee to serve for terms of 3 years, 1 member of the Board of Health to serve for a term of 3 years, 2 members of the Parks and Recreation Commission to serve for terms of 3 years, 2 members of the Library Board of Trustees to serve for terms of 3 years, and 1 member of the Planning Board to serve for a term of 5 years.
Mr. Moderator, I'll second the motion.
Article number 23 have been made and seconded. Questions, comments, or discussion? There being none, all in favor signify by raising your hand now, please. Thank you. And opposed? Thank you. The article is passed unanimously. We do have one more article to go back to. Thanks, Nick. It is Article 12, which we will bring up at this time. Now, just so that you know the procedure here, this is going to be a ballot vote. It requires a 2/3 vote for passage. I will allow discussion on it. I will have discussion on it. I just want you to realize that from this point on, there will be no reconsideration of any article on the warrant, including Article 12. After you vote, after we have discussion and then you vote, if you want to go home without waiting for the results, you can, knowing that nothing's going to change from the results that occur. And if you get home in time, you can put on Channel 30 and maybe catch the results just before you go to bed. Okay? So Article 12.
Article 12. Mr. Moderator, I move that the town vote to transfer from stabilization fund the sum of $15,000, said sum to be expended by the fire department for the purchase and installation of an engine exhaust removal system to the apparatus bay of the Clinton Fire Department. Finance Committee disapproved.
Mr. Moderator, I second the motion.
Article number 12 have been made and seconded. Questions, comments, or discussion under Article 12?
Each morning, the firefighters in town start and operate the fire apparatus for approximately half an hour to bring it up to operating temperature to ensure the engines are lubricated properly. In recent years, every piece of fire apparatus we've purchased is diesel to give us the added horsepower we need. The diesel fumes being produced by these engines adhere to the walls of the lungs much more readily, and that builds over time, exposing the firefighters to lung problems down the road. This is something that's been seen on a national level. I've done some research. I've chosen the most economical means to handle the safety issue. It's not only a safety issue with the firefighters who are there daily, but also with the children of our community who come in maybe an hour after the apparatus has been run and potentially exposed to the same carcinogens. What I'm proposing to do here is to put in 4 smoke eaters that are specially designed for the diesel exhaust fumes. That'll filter the air 6.2 times an hour. Each morning while they do run it, presently, we have 2 large fans in the side of the station that at best changes the air. However, to make them operate effectively, we've got to open outside doors. So as a result, every day during the winter, we've got doors open and we're pumping the heat outside. Tried to limit it to 50 degrees in the apparatus bay, which is quite reasonable for the diesel engines. And this is one more means to try to stay within the budget for the heat, light, and power. I'm sure there's a payback. I can't give you an exact year that we'd be able to pay it back over the energy savings, but I wouldn't expect it to be a long time. Unfortunately, I didn't get an opportunity to meet with the Board of Selectmen and the Finance at their joint meeting when they decided to disapprove the article. I had a discussion after with the Finance over it, but I am recommending tonight that we approve it in all respect to the Finance Committee. Thank you.
Still under discussion under Article 12. There being none. Okay, again, this is a ballot vote. I mean, you're welcome to stay if you want after the ballot vote to see the count, or you can just go home and catch it on Channel 30. Again, it will be precincts 1 and 2 over here, precincts 3 and 4 over there. Oh, yeah. Use a different color there. be right back with that. I just want to get the numbers. Ladies and gentlemen, the vote on Article 12, thank you, was 85 yes and 43 no, and the article is defeated because it needs a two-thirds vote. Comes out to .66. It needed .667 for passage, like another vote would have done it.
Ready? Article 12 has failed. That is all tonight. Good night, you all.
Once again for televising this meeting live, and remind you that the candidates night will be shown tomorrow night at 7 o'clock as well on Channel 30. Thanks again. Wow. Just short. Yeah, he come over. He told me we got one more voting. 10:15 is that.